Hello everyone, nubkeks here. Welcome back to Nub Raids, and the Fusion event calendar for Emic Trunkheart is live. And actually, initial impressions, it looks pretty good. We'll take a little dive into it here. There's certainly a very big twist with a summon rush on Tuesday, Wednesday for some extra fragments. We'll see that. But yeah, it is live in game. This stuff is going on right now. To do this fusion, you are going to need 4 of these epics to then fuse up into him. How do you get those epics? By collecting fragments. So it is a bit funny, I think, down here at the bottom, right? Like over here and etc., that they have different events going into this. I really don't think that's going to matter. You know, just the fragments should just be the fragments. You just need to collect enough to fuse an epic. Like, you don't need to collect Dungeon Divers 1, Summon Rush, Artifact Enhancement 1, and Dungeon Divers 2 specifically to fuse this. Any fragments will do. The fragments are just fragments. What is interesting, let's talk about this bonus event first. So there are 200 fragments available from tournaments and 200 from events, with then 50 available from an extra Summon Rush. You are going to need 100 for each of these. So if you do not do this extra summon rush, you need to do absolutely everything else. If you do get this bonus 50 down here, you could skip 2 other events of your choice. Probably Dungeon Divers are the hardest one. People often don't like champion training, or maybe like a 3rd artifact enhancement could be a bit rough. I think that one though is actually pretty doable. Maybe artifact enhancement too. Something like that, skipping something along these lines. But let's break it down first, and then let's talk about whether or not we should consider going for this. So let's start off looking at the Summon Rush event. I have a video. It's actually just going live literally as I'm recording right now, so I'll probably be checking on my phone just to make sure everything goes live just fine. We do have a Summon Rush tomorrow, and that's going to go through the weekend, end on probably very early on Monday morning. The champions, I did a review on those. Actually really good champions in this Summon Rush event. So we will find out tomorrow exactly how many points we need. I'll do a whole video on that, of course, and my shard pulls, because I am going to go for this. There's 25 fragments there. Considering that it is only 25 fragments, I would say this is probably not going to be too bad. Now, after that, we are going to have a champion chase tournament, which is going to be next weekend. That's from the 11th of August, so that weekend, the Friday, Saturday, Sunday, basically. That will be 2x Ancients. Let's just do ANC. So, you know, let's make the C a bit better. Oh my god, drawing a C is hard. There we go. 2x Ancients over here. This means it's pretty doable. That is probably the easiest shard event in these fusions. So again, that looks pretty good. 25 fragments. Every single event, every single tournament in this fusion is giving 25 fragments. That's actually really nice in my opinion. This makes it much more straightforward. You can look at this and understand very clearly, okay, I need to do 4 of these events or tournaments to fuse one of these epics, and I need to do that 4 times to get all 4, and bada bing bada boom, we are good to go. So I would actually say, looking at this right now, is this summon rush worth doing to skip these other summoning events? Probably not. Presuming that the points aren't too bad on this summon rush, you can use your sacreds and void shards to do that. Then over here for 2x ancients, you use your ancient shards to do that. And it should be fairly straightforward, actually. Indeed, one little tip for this champion chase tournament over here that you will almost definitely want to do is if you fuse this epic from your fragments, so save up your fragments and then summon her in, click that summon button during champion chase, that should count towards those points, which is going to make it easier. What we saw happen in the previous fusion is that they expected you to do that, and they inflated the point cost to match. So basically, by the time we get to this champion chase, there are, let's say 1, 2, you should be able to fuse at least 2. I would say at least 2 of these epics coming in. I'm too lazy to count it up precisely, but at least 2, probably 3. You'll need to complete it to get the 4th one, right? So 2 to 3 of these epics you can fuse to help you get those champion chase fragments, and I'd expect perhaps need to do that. But it's not too bad. This extra summon rush is interesting. It really raises the question for me, what is going to be part of that summon rush? There are 50 fragments up for grabs. Obviously, immediately, that's twice as much. This is likely to be much more expensive. It's also randomly in the middle of the week. Now, they're constantly barraging us with 10x events at the moment, but what is that champion going to be? What's it going to be? I have no idea. It could be a guaranteed event. It could be just a 10x event. I have no clue. I have no clue what this is going to be. One thing I will say is that this is right before the first Hydra Clash. Let me actually put that in purple. I've done a video on this. The first Hydra Clash, just put a big H, is going to come here. So it's going to be like starting on, I think, actually, no, sorry. The first Hydra Clash starts on Wednesday, doesn't it? Wednesday, the 9th of August. That's the Hydra Clash. That's bang in the middle of that summon rush. So I would sort of expect this to tie in with some sort of Hydra champion, perhaps a guaranteed champion that is good for Hydra. Let me know what you think. It's pure speculation. We have no idea what it actually is. Maybe it's going to be a brand new champion, but I would certainly expect it to be expensive. Right, let's dive into some of these other events. So first of all, let's look at your energy. Yeah, let's do energy. So let's take red for this and let's go. So you've got actually one, I think the way we'll do this is let's put it like this. So we've got Dungeon Divers 1, Dungeon Divers 2, this is quite long, so it could be quite tricky. And Dungeon Divers 3. I actually love the layout of this calendar. Let's see how this overlaps. So Dungeon Divers 1 basically perfectly overlaps Dragon. So you really want to get Dungeon Divers 1 done with Dragon. In fact, has that event started yet? By the time you see this video, it will be live, so no stress there, right? It is live, Dragon is live. Go do them, get them done. That's it. Ice Golem then begins, but I would not start Ice Golem until about here, where Ice Golem is going to actually overlap with this Dungeon Divers, and you're going to be able to squeeze in a bit of this Dungeon Divers as well with Fire Knight. So that's kind of nice. I will say there is nothing else really taking your energy right here. There's a big energy gap right here. So do an Ice Golem, then switch over to your favorite dungeon. Perhaps that's going to be Spider to get more silver for artifacts enhancement and finish it there. If you do need to do some Fire Knight, do it like so. And then the final Dungeon Divers comes over here, and then, well, basically Spider will effectively take over. There'll be probably a tiny gap where there's no event, and then Spider will take over towards the end, and bam. Now, what is going to happen over here, probably after this Dungeon Divers ends, we're going to see Tuesday through the start of Thursday. This should be CVC, and it should be personal rewards, okay? What that means to me is that this Spider tournament, you probably don't need to stress too much about finishing it. You can finish it as part of CVC personal rewards and get some nice, easy CVC points in there. That's what people tend to do, is farm Spider. And also, incidentally, artifact enhancement is also going to overlap there. So basically, Tuesday the 15th, you can do that. And with the extra bonus, fuse up Emic during CVC to get that, what's it, 30,000 points for CVC for free, effectively. You're probably going to want that, right? If your enemy clan has done that, you're going to be very far behind. If you're trying to reach your personal reward goals, that 30k points really helps you to get there. So I would be big time watching out for that. So in terms of energy, now where it gets a bit spicier is when we put in the champion training. So champion training tournament, I'd definitely be looking at it here and sprinkle it in. So let me put out some little dots here. Do it as you need, but sort of Sunday and maybe part of Monday are going to be the big thing. So when Ice Golem kicks in, don't start it straight away. Wait for Dungeon Divers 2. This is your moment to really hard focus on champion training. And again, once you finish Dragon, go ahead, start on some champion training. Yeah, I mean, if you haven't finished it on time, keep going until it's done and then switch over to Ice Golem when it's done and try to blitz through Ice Golem. Ice Golem's a bit hard to speed farm, so that is one to be careful of. And then, yeah, like I said, this Dungeon Divers, you don't need to stress about this one, I think, too much. It is very long. The points might be high, but you've got quite a lot of time in order to do it with no other energy requirements. Now, the other, yeah, here you go, this champion training event. So I'd say we have a little gap right here. Boop, boop. So let's actually put it right here. It's when I'd be doing this champion training in that gap with Dungeon Divers. And then I'd sort of be finishing it off right here. Is what I would be doing. Again, this should be fairly straightforward because you do not need to rush this Spider tournament. Fire Knight is definitely the most quirky one. Definitely you can use a bit to blitz the end of Dungeon Divers, but there's going to be a very small overlap, it looks like. It'll be very small. But you could use it to help the end of Dungeon Divers if you need right here. And then, you know, doing it when this Dungeon Diver starts off. Honestly, I'd feel free to just do Fire Knight in between as well. And just sort of feel free to bounce between the two. I think this Dungeon Divers 3 should be straightforward. Obviously, if you do the Summon Rush, you can potentially skip this Champ Training or this Dungeon Divers and make it a bit easier. We have Artifact Enhancement events. There are 3 of them. Not much to be said about these. Save up your silver. That's basically all there is to it. Save up your silver. Only upgrade stuff during that. That's it. Simple as that. That's all you can really do. So just save your silver. There's 3 of them, so this is going to be pretty intensive. So definitely watch out. Like I said, with the 3rd Artifact Enhancement event, I would really not do anything here. I'd really be focusing on it at the end during CVC to double dip. So try to blitz, really try to save up lots of silver so you can blast it out on the Tuesday and basically not get caught, right? Finally then, I think, yeah, finally, actually, pretty much, we've got the Classic Arena. Simple enough. You just got to do some Classic Arena. It really is that easy. There's nothing exceptional there. Do your Classic Arena. If you're in bronze or silver, you might need to buy some refills. But on the whole, I said at the start of the video, this looks to be a pretty good Fusion calendar. Honestly, it's very straightforward. It's very easy to understand how these fragments work. I do 4 events or tournaments, I can fuse an epic. I need to do 16 events or tournaments total. That's how many there are. And then this mystery, extra 50 fragments down here. Well, who knows what is coming? Who knows what's coming? Again, my advice, I think, considering that the shard events are so easy, my advice is definitely to do this first summon rush. 100% do this first summon rush. And then depending on what this event is on Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday next week, you can do that. And potentially I'd be looking to skip, like I said, I'd be looking to skip Dungeon Divers 3. That's kind of annoying enough. Skip Champion Training. That would be a good one to skip as well. You know, it's up to you. Skip what you want to skip if you end up doing this, but you might not. So there you go. I think that's basically it. Again, I did a showcase on Emic Trunkheart. I was a little underwhelmed with him, to be honest. I wasn't blown away. He is more of a progression champion, right? Because he opens up with Unkillable, it opens up Demon Lord Clan Boss. Now, outside of Demon Lord Clan Boss, I think he's pretty decent in Arena. I think certainly the fact that he brings Unkillable, he brings Taunt, and he brings AoE Shield with cooldown reduction. There is enough happening in his kit that for me, and considering that this fusion looks quite easy, he is definitely worth getting, even though I didn't feel like I don't see him coming into any of my teams, honestly, right now. Like for me, on my account, am I going to actually actively use him? Probably not. I might build him up focused for Arena and try him out for some of that, but he didn't amaze me. I thought he was okay, but not amazing. If you're earlier on in the game, he might be very helpful for your account and he might make it into multiple teams. But later on in the game, he's not wowing me. But the fact he has such a unique toolkit, it's very possible you could see a boss come out at some point that does require Unkillable or does require Taunt to make it happen. Obviously, they wanted Taunt to be a thing in Phantom Shogun's Grove. I don't think it's needed. I don't think many people are really doing Phantom Shogun's Grove. I certainly haven't really bothered at all, to be honest. You know, I did a guide on it for how to farm it easily, but that's it. So I don't know. So, but I still give him a tick. I still think he's worth getting. Yeah, Void Legendary as well. So he's hard to get, right? If you miss him, you might never get him again. And if he does end up being best in slot, he's worth getting, and it doesn't look too bad. Let me know what you think. I'll probably do a video on Firegun Isbale soon, because I like her a lot. From the looks of it, we'll figure out how good she is for anyone that is not able to complete the fusion. But yeah, there you go. Hopefully you found it helpful. Let me know if you spotted any tips that I missed. I think we've covered everything, but you never know. I'll see you all next time. Goodbye.